and welcome back to Who Ordered Coffee. This is Season 2, Episode 6, and today, Hanae is your host. Welcome back, and today we have captured another guest. Jonathan, do you know who it is?
They won't let me out.
Yeah, we won't let him out.
We have acquired a denizen of the world. He is here against his will. No. Well, who do we have with us? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course, this fine little individual has been trapped. Someone threw a blanket over him, and he goes by the name of Gabe. How do you do?
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so cool. I've never been on a podcast before, and it's going to be so cool to be on a podcast with a bunch of my friends. I am a whopper muso. I play the flute, and I was in the same year as Jonathan when we graduated, and we're both doing. All three of us are doing our masters together as well.
That's right. Yes.
And my masters is on a very funky little modified flute head joint.
Yes.
And how it relates to the instrument culture that it imitates, and like a whole lot of cultural appropriation going into that. So it's a whole little rabbit hole and a half. But it's a whole lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it.
That's so cool.
Fantastic.
Would you like to also talk about the amazing flute that Jonathan is currently lending you?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Jonathan
I'd love for
has
you to
been
talk about this.
so generous.
Yes.
He's let me borrow
right.
his
I love that
Dixie.
I forgot about this for a second. I was like, what are you talking about?
Jonathan's like, what did I lend Gabe? It's like, what is missing from my house?
I have a flute? No.
Yeah, Jonathan secretly was a flautist all this long.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
Yes.
Flautist, then he didn't flaunt it.
So would you like to tell us and the audience what this cool little flute that we keep talking about? I don't actually remember its name. I apologize, but go ahead. Take us on a TED Talk.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming to see my TED Talk. This is about the flute and all that the flute can offer. So the head joint is called the Matusi
Eternal
flute.
life.
Oh.
All the flute can offer, I was like, eternal life. Sorry.
So the head joint is the Matusi flute, and what it does is it turns the sound of the flute into a sound very similar to that of the Chinese ditsu flute. And Jonathan was very nice this year and let me borrow the ditsu so that I can like have a play of it and just be like, is it actually that similar or not? And I've just been having a little bit of a practice on it, and I found out two things. One, yes, it does sound similar, and two, I'm very terrible at playing the ditsu.
Oh, no. I'm sure you're all right.
So we made a lot of discoveries
amazing.
so far.
It's probably amazing.
Don't even, no. A few flute lessons, and then maybe I'll be on track.
Okay.
After a few flute lessons, you're going to hit the rest of the world with solo performances on the
Oh,
ditsu
absolutely.
flute.
Watch out.
Yeah, stay tuned for those.
Well, here comes Gabe.
Here comes the flute. Toot, 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 toot.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's right. Oh my gosh.
I've got to actually see this flute being passed on from Jonathan to Gabe. I was there. I was the witness. I was like, "Oh, it's so pretty." It's a very beautiful. I believe it's made out of wood. Don't ask me what type of wood.
It's it's bamboo.
Bamboo. Look at that. It's a gorgeous looking instrument as well, and I was very fascinated, and I was like, I cannot wait for you to play this one day, and I really want to hear it. So no pressure. I would love to come hear it one day.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully if everything goes okay with my master's project and I get to do my little bit of a master's recital on the ditsu, then maybe you'll get that opportunity.
Yes.
Fingers crossed if I get through though.
Fingers crossed for all our
I'm
proposals
sure
coming
it'll
up.
work out.
Yeah. Oh.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're coming back to a little familiar thing. I think I did something similar in season 1 where I talked about video games. We're back. Funny enough that my thesis is also surrounding video games. You'd think I'm a little obsessed. No. Anyway, so we're going to talk about some Nintendo games. I've got a specific list of which ones because there's quite a few and I don't want to get into too many of them.
There really is.
So our categories is Legend of Zelda, Animal Crossing, and Pokemon.
Yes.
All
Some
games.
very famous titles there.
All
Franchises.
games. I know that we have all played. Yeah, so let's start, I reckon, with some Animal Crossing.
Fantastic.
To start off the segment, hey
Let's
Gabe,
do that.
would you like to demonstrate your amazing talent?
Oh, absolutely. Apparently, I've been told, and I have also been forced to recreate
against his will.
the animalese that not every villager does. The cranky villagers, how they have the really low pitched sort of sound, and they sound a little bit like.
This is the greatest moment of my life.
Incredible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was incredible.
I hope in edits, there's a crowd going wild, Jonathan.
Oh yeah,
Giving you
yes,
more.
that's yes.
And can there be
No,
just
no.
a singular person, just like very muffled in the back, just going.
Just a heckle. I'll just record
Unsatisfied.
myself. I'll just set up the microphone in the middle of the room. I'll just go to the back. I'll just be like, woo! And, yeah.
I can't wait to
Insert
see
that.
this happen when episode is released. This is great. Thank you for indulging my crazy ass for today. I reckon for that,
incredible
you
demonstration.
both get 2 points. Now I better execute.
Oh, I get
you.
point 2. Why do I get a point? I mean,
It's a
I'm
team effort.
happy for it.
depending if you do the edit, I may take this point off you. So at the moment, you get 2
But
points.
you won't find out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so in 2 weeks, once I find out in the next episode, I'll either take the points off or we'll just fine. You know what? You argue too much. You don't get the point.
Oh.
I lost my
Okay,
2
now I know the
points.
stakes. I'll make sure to not question the authority.
Jonathan has not learnt, even though he knows that I make insanely weird decisions when this is my second cup of coffee. Okay, so we've had many Animal Crossing games. I've only played 2, which is New Leaf and New Horizons, both new.
Ooh.
I'm going to go off disappear from that first question and say, what was the very first Animal Crossing game that you played?
Ooh.
Or if it was New Horizons. I'm going to put Jonathan on the spot. What was
On
the
the
first
spot, yes.
Animal Crossing game?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? The little, how to little, what's it called? Franchise? No.
Installments.
Installments.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the word.
Yes.
Point
Yes.
for Jonathan.
Point to Jonathan. I agree.
Yes. Thank you, Gabe.
Helping you
The
out.
first Animal Crossing. Yes. Thank you. The first Animal Crossing game that I remember playing was the one on DS. Or I guess it doesn't matter because I think they work across all the early DSs, but I played on DS Lite. And this wasn't New Leaf. I think this was the one before it. Does anyone know what off the top of their head which one that one was called? So
Animal Crossing Wild World.
Oh,
that's the one. Yes. Gabe gives a
he
point.
does get a point. Look at that point. Point
Gabe
for
gets a point.
knowledge.
Point for knowledge. That's the one I remember playing. Although as a kid playing it, I could never figure out what I was supposed to do after like going through the tutorial of like, oh, this is how you sell things. This is what you're supposed to do. And so I just never managed to figure out like, oh, I was supposed to be paying off my like home loan and all that stuff. Like, so I never actually got like progressed past like setting up my character and like naming the town and meeting the villagers. That was it. My whole experience was like I like sold some shells or something, and I was like, okay,
So
this
you're
is the
probably
whole game.
still living in a tent.
Oh, I think like the very base house or something.
yeah.
Yeah. They didn't do tents until
Okay.
the most recent game. Yeah, so I just remember just checking in every so often. There'd be a lot of weeds and I'd be like, okay, just pull up some weeds, sell that. And that was the whole experience. But then, that's not really that far off from what the rest of the game is. It's just that,
You were
but
so
more
close.
advanced. You sell... Yeah, I just like I missed a few steps, but yeah, I got there eventually with a new game where I was much older and much I had more brain cells to rub together. Let's put it that way.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah,
You're really close. You were so close to like understanding the
I was
game.
very close.
And then you're like,
Yeah.
no, that's it.
No, I honestly didn't try that all that hard. I was more interested in like Pokemon and stuff.
I mean, fair. We'll get to
Yeah.
Pokemon in a bit. Calm down.
We'll get to that.
But we're warming up
Yes.
to Pokemon. Okay, Gabe.
Yeah.
Same question. At you.
My first Animal Crossing game was also the same, but I didn't own it myself. My brother for Christmas, like years ago, got the copy of Animal Crossing Wild World on his DS. And one good thing about it was that you could have more than one save file on it. And so
Yes.
save
Must
file number
be
1
nice.
is my brother. Save file number 2 was little old me. And I was genuinely a parasite on that game. I was stealing all of my brother's bells and all the flowers. Like he would have like a path all paved away, and then like the next morning it'll be gone, and he'll be like so confused as to why it was gone. I'm like,
Oh my gosh, it's
Couldn't have been
amazing. Like must be a
It was Tom Nook.
yeah, it's probably Tom Nook.
Tom, I
It
was a
Tom
little
Nook
Tom Nook.
all along. When I first saw, I think it was Wild World that I was looking at the cover, and I saw Animal Crossing. I was like, why would you want a game where animals cross the road? That's what my brain.
Wasn't there already a game like that called Frogger that came out in the 80s? Like, come on.
I think that's where my brain went. But like, I legit thought Animal Crossing was where you help the animals cross the road or something and keep them safe, which
honestly,
very wholesome.
Like, imagining a game where I get to hold a hand with like a rabbit and just like guide them across the road, I would pay $60 for that.
I'm gonna write this.
It doesn't sound like the worst idea. It honestly sounds pretty cute.
Okay, keep this among ourselves.
A lot of people would be into that.
You know what? Maybe we should make a game. I'm gonna call this Animal Crossing the Path. And that's really cute. You know what? I should stop before I spoil it anymore. Spoiler anymore.
It actually sounds like a Star Wars title, The Path. You know,
The Path. Will you take it?
It's the way.
Do 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 do. We've really got to start with the Mandalorian theme.
Nah, I gotta bring it back every couple of episodes.
We do. We have not stopped.
I have a very funky little fun fact about the Mandalorian that I'd love to share.
Ooh,
go for it. I love fun facts.
Please.
This time last year, I got to play the Mandalorian theme on a bass recorder.
Ooh.
I saw you. I watched you do this.
It was so fun because it was so dorky to play like such a big clunky instrument and like such an iconic melody. It just was magical.
You played it for Wacko, right?
Yeah. We did like a whole Star Wars space themed concert.
I was in the orchestra, so I was in the first half.
Yeah.
But when I saw you playing up, because you guys weren't even in the orchestra, you're up in the choir stalls, and I was like, what you doing up there? What are those big long things? Are those recorded? And then you guys were complaining about it afterwards, saying, we didn't know what we were doing.
We had to learn the instruments.
Yeah, because you had to learn it, but you played so beautifully. I was like, this is so exciting. Everyone went wild world. But it was... Ooh. Sorry, segueing
That's the
back.
name of the thing we're just talking about.
I think it was honestly the first time that I got a positive reception from playing the recorder.
I mean, that's probably the first time I fell in love with the recorder.
Advanced recorder is a vibe, you guys.
It is. It's very impressive. So there have been quite a few Animal Crossing games, and we currently have New Horizons. But what do you think the next Animal Crossing game may be? So we've had Wild World, then we had New Leaf, then there was like City Folk. Then there's New Horizons where they're stuck on an island and you can't leave or find your family. What do you think might be next?
Who would you like to go first? I have two options.
Oh, you already have two answers? Go for it.
Oh.
Yeah. I know. I was like, I had nothing. And I am asking the question. Go for it.
My mind immediately... Okay, so my proper answer. So
yes.
I have a joke answer.
Oh, I love the joke.
My mind immediately went to like maybe Fantasy World because it maybe like step it up. So like there were like little town, city, some sort of island. So I was like, where else could you go on the planet? Maybe somewhere that's not on this planet. So it could be like Animal Crossing, but like a little fantasy sort of JRPG vibe sort of setting. I think it could make me be a spin-off. I could see them doing that as a potential pathway. But my joke answer was to a rather dark office work environment kind of simulator where you're just like this disgruntled worker who's been there for, you know, however many years. The reason I thought of that though is because I
Tom Nook
I am writing music.
And says,
exactly. No, he's the boss cracking the whip. He's the boss cracking the whip.
You're like the cubicles next to you is Timmy and Tommy, and Isabel's the assistant.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? But I thought of that one because I'm writing music for Barking Gecko's adaptation of Cicada, which is a book by John Tan, and it's about a very similar topic of this little bug, a cicada, and working in a office, and it sort of explores the sort of demoralizing and sort of soul-sucking nature of working in an office and how depressing it can get. So yes, it could be a simulator for one of those.
Beautiful. You get 2 points.
That sounds like the opening to Stardew Valley, except you don't get to go to the farm. You're just stuck in at the office job.
I'm saying that now I have two answers. My first one was going to
say I got two answers too.
Oh, okay. I'll have no answer.
Okay, I've taken both of your answers. Thank you
they're just gone. And you're like, them.
Yeah.
It's like when you're playing Mario Kart and the little ghost comes and steals your items.
Oh my
you just stole my one brain cell. And you're like, this is mine.
It's right. You can have them back. I'm passing them on to you.
Thank you. Okay, Gabe. What is your answer for the new potential Animal Crossing worlds?
So I have two. One's an original thought, and another is completely stolen. But we'll go with the
Okay.
original
This wasn't my
first.
stolen idea.
How did you know?
Oh, it's just a feeling.
So I played a game last year that I really fell in love with that was not of the same like genre as like Animal Crossing, but it was like a similar vibe.
Yeah.
The name was Coffee Talk, and it is a text-based, like it's kind of like a narrative, what do you call it? A visual novel game where you just run a cafe as a barista, but the cafe opens at
How
midnight.
appropriate.
Yeah. It's got like a pixel art aesthetic and it's really cute.
Ooh.
And it's all like fairy tale and everything. And I thought, hang on, didn't they have like an Animal Crossing cafe? What if
This is true.
you like work for Brewster in a full-on Animal Crossing cafe industry and you just like, you work as a barista and you get a whole bunch of people coming in and you just get to chat for the whole
Sounds-
game.
I love that. This Bruce is my favorite.
The second idea, which is completely stolen, I saw this before Animal Crossing New Horizons got announced, but someone had an idea for an Animal Crossing game, like as a fan theory for what it would look like on the Wii U. That isn't the one that actually came out on the Wii U, which was just a board game and that was really terrible, where it's based on flight. And yes, there's like the Dodo Airlines in New Horizons, but it was a bit more of your house is a hot air balloon and you get to customize it. And like your landing pad is like your town and you just like have a little bit of a hub world and you can explore other people's hubs and you can completely
that's so
decorate the hot air balloon. Like you can turn it into a Pokeball or
Nice.
just a whole lot of different colors, like a fish bowl as well.
I
And I
love
saw
Sounds
that like,
perfect.
I think I was like 15 when I saw that. I'm like, oh my gosh, they better make that a thing. Like Nintendo should hire this guy. And then I haven't heard from him since. So who knows? Maybe maybe he has been hired. Maybe he made the game.
It genuinely sounds like exactly what they would do.
Mm.
Like it doesn't even sound that far fetched.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And I can imagine Tom Nook like appearing after you've paid your debt. He's like, hello, I'm back. You owe me more money.
Tom Nook would fly in like balloons tied to his waist, and he's just like, "Hello, I'm here to take some more money."
Would you like to extend your basket a little bit? That'd be so funny. I love that. So my ideas was, I think I'm piggybacking. Jonathan sparked an idea. So my first idea was in a forest setting. So it's got like huge trees, like a lot of different varieties, but it's like quite shaded. And maybe there's like I don't want to go with train line because that's New Leaf. And I don't want to go with ocean because that's New. Maybe it's never ending until you get to town or something. So you live out in this little forest. So I thought that would be cute. My second idea, which I forgot where I got it from now, but a space Animal Crossing.
Ooh.
So you get to live on
there
a
you go.
planet and you have to wear like little astronaut helmets when you go outside, and it's going to be like moon rocks. Not moon rocks. Well, it could be the moon.
You almost definitely have to connect. That's probably the currency, let's be real.
Yeah, and then you can see everyone just doing like little floaty steps every time they walk. It'll be really cute. So that's
I can imagine a DLC where you're in for New Horizon,
Yeah.
where you can like dream your way onto the moon or something.
yeah, and Dodo Airlines is now Dodo Space Lines, and they take you to each star and planet that's nearby, and that's how you find new things.
And when you go to a different planet, you got to collect a star to restore the Comet Observatory and defeat Bowser as well.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. It's just Super Mario Galaxy.
Gabe's like Nintendo CEO is starting to turn back on.
I would play a fusion of Super Mario Galaxy and Animal Crossing New Rocket, was it? Going off
New
into
Rocket?
space.
Yeah, that's cool. New Rocket. I love it.
New Rocket.
New Rocket.
So, sticking with Animal Crossing, who is the best character in Animal Crossing and why? So this can be a villager or one of the characters that appear along forever. Okay, my first answer was going to be Wilbur from Dodo Airlines because he wears sunnies and he always... There was one point where I found a tarantula island and I was collecting those tarantulas to pay off my house loan, and I died about 10 times that night. And he kept
yes.
saying,
Small price to pay for tarantulas.
and yeah, just a small price.
Small price to pay.
Anyway, every time I woke up, Will would be like, "You okay? I was about to call and like help, but you take care of yourself." And I was like, "You care, thank you." And then I went off and got killed again. So he kept doing that like all night. It was hilarious, but it was cute. I didn't know Wilbur did that because I thought if I got stung, I would actually be sent all the way back to my house. And I was like, my tarantulas, no, I need the money. So
I need the money.
I reckon they're one of my favorites. What about you two? Who has an answer or who wants to go first? Looking like Gabe.
Gabe, would you like to go first?
I would like to propose that hands down the best villager
Yes.
has to be Tangy, which is my childhood favorite villager. And for those at home who aren't familiar with her, she is a cat that is, I would say, disguised as, or she looks like an orange.
Oh.
And she has like orange peel as like her skin. And then she's got a nice green leaf on the top of her head. And she is adorable. And I had her on my Animal Crossing Let's Go to the City World on the Wii. And that was just like, she was my hands down favorite villager. And since then, I wanted to make sure. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that she was in my town and in every installment afterwards.
Yeah. Yes, I can definitely see it. And actually, funnily enough, I'm looking at a picture of Tangy now. She's got like a blue and white striped vest or shirt. And it seems to be like a common appearance for her. I remember one time, Gabe, when I met you early on, you actually had a shirt that was actually quite similar to that. It was like blue and white. And I remember mentioning, I'm like, that kind of reminds me of Animal Crossing, which is kind of, so like, there you go. There's that connection. That's probably why.
That's so cute.
You were channeling Tangy energy.
Tangy was the inspiration. She is the moment, and I'm just merely a copy of her fashion.
I love it.
Amazing.
Very cute. I love her. She looks so wholesome. I love that she has like the little orange type of skin texture as well.
When I first looked up Tangy on like the Animal Crossing Wikipedia, it was like list of cat villages, and then next to Tangy was one called Tabby. I was like, okay, and then I looked at her, and oh my goodness,
what did they do with that cat? Like that's so mean. Like everything.
I love her so much. She's very brave.
Now I've got to find out who this.
Yeah, look up Tabby.
Tabby. Oh no, Tabby.
Tabby's kind of like gritting into your soul.
It's a choice. It's a choice. Brave, definitely.
That's so
I'd agree
mean.
with
I
that.
love that. Okay, Jonathan.
Yeah, I had to look him up very quickly, but for some reason, I have to probably go with Blathers. I don't know why.
You had to look up Blathers?
I couldn't remember for the life of me what he was called, but yeah, I was like thinking. I mean, if you've listened to the show when we mentioned Animal Crossing in the past, when we had Adrian on, I don't really know my villagers, and I don't really know other villagers. So when asked to name a favorite, I have to probably name one of the staff members, if you will, the staff of.
I did too.
Not the actual villagers, and so I went with Blathers because like Tom Nook is evil. We all know that.
Yeah.
I guess I would go with is he called Roost? No,
Brewster.
Brewster. I'm terrible with names. I was going to go with Brewster maybe, but I was like, but we've already talked about Brewster. It'd be like, it's not very.
I know,
cool.
that's why I was like, won't pick
I'm like,
Brewster.
I can't.
On my top.
I can't pick Brewster. But he's up there. So I'm like, the next the next bird would have to be Blathers. So we love a little bow tie. We love a bird with a bow tie, and I also do get a lot of joy every time you talk to him in the daytime, and he's always sleeping. And he'll just be like, hoo.
It's okay. And then he falls asleep
it's always
after you stop talking to him. It's really cute.
Oh, yeah. It's very cute. And Blathers is always has his dialogue is quite funny. I like he's not like into bugs. It's funny that he's not into bugs as a bird.
Makes me wonder what he eats then.
Yeah.
He starves.
Yes.
He
eats the fish.
Just remembered. I love that in New Horizons. I'm not sure if it's happened in other games, but when you talk to Abel, like when you harass her day after day, she actually realizes that you want to talk to her, and she starts like hanging out with you and like telling a little bit about herself. And I love that. I think that's such a sweet game design that you have to actually keep pestering her till she like realizes that you want to be friends. It's not just like, oh yeah, let's just talk. I think that's so sweet, and I love her for that.
It teaches important lessons. If someone's shy to you, just keep repeatedly pressing A until they open up.
A. Presses B to speed things up. B. Beautiful.
Accidentally presses start and has to restart the whole game.
Yeah. Okay. So with
Fantastic.
doing our favorite characters and villages, who is the most devious character and why? And what did they do to you?
Ooh.
So I
It's funny.
have a who was it? I think it was Pashmina. It was a goat, and she came up to me and I bought you a gift and it reminded me of you. It was a garbage
Oh
can.
no.
I was furious. I was like, get out of my sight, please, before I go report you to Isabel for being a bully. That was so mean. So that was my moment of like, thanks. When are you leaving? Yeah.
I've had a villager give me a tombstone.
Oh.
Are you threatening me?
I would ask you, Jonathan, who it was, but we all know that you probably
I don't know who it was.
So I love that Jonathan doesn't actually know his villages, because I think when I first came to his island, I was like, oh, who do you have? And Jonathan's like, I don't know. I have houses. Someone lives here.
Dog. Bird.
Penguin.
Tree.
Penguin.
Penguin.
It's great. Gabe, who did you wrong in Animal Crossing?
So you know how you have those villagers that you tend to become fond of and like learn to love over time?
Yes.
I assume so.
I had the opposite with one of my villagers. His name was Ribbot, bless his heart. He was one of my OGs on the Animal Crossing New Horizon island.
Was he a frog?
He is a frog.
So
He is a
Ribbit.
robot frog.
Oh, that's
Oh.
cool. I've heard of him.
Robot Ribbit.
Yeah. And then it was around that time when I was playing it, when I was really into my like frog phase, and I just wanted nothing but frog themed everything.
I remember this.
And yeah, and then I had a lovely villager come in called Henry, who was also a frog and was quite a charmer, dare I say, a lot more charming than Ribbot. And just over time, Ribbot just rubbed me the wrong way. I guess we always just like had too many awkward interactions, and then he just, you know, like chimed in at the worst possible time ever in a conversation, and we're like, oh, read the room. So I asked for him to leave.
That was the right call, I think.
He was evicted from the island.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very hard to do, but I feel like he's in better places now.
Yeah, it had to be done.
Had to go. He was let go.
Onwards and upwards.
That was like
Onwards and
a
upwards.
koala. I love the koalas, so I get excited that they have Aussie animals. But I had two. One was a grumpy old man named Gonzo, and I thought he was so sweet and funny. And the other one, I don't remember his name, but I do think it was Ollie. He was just annoying, and no one in my village liked him. They actually didn't like him at all. He was so rude to them. He didn't leave for like months. I didn't talk to him at all. I ignored him straight up, and he didn't leave for like ages. So he finally did leave, and when he did, I think he was replaced by like someone worse. But like, that's okay. It happens.
That's always the trade.
I know.
When I discovered that there was a function to like sort of report your villagers to Isabel, I was like, oh, this is how you get people off your island. I'm going to report this one villager who's like rubbing me the wrong way.
Did it work?
But no, you can't actually. I don't think you can.
No.
You can't actually have them evicted that way.
I was
But imagine if it could.
Yeah, because I was watching Jacksepticeye and he was hating on one of his OGs like since day one. It was kind of funny, but he was hating on this poor monkey for days, and he reported every like 5 minutes to Isabel about this villager, and she didn't leave. She was there forever. It was so funny. So it's a weird function. I don't think it's there to do anything. Maybe just have a nice little vent to Isabel. Or Isabel just doesn't do her job.
They did it so that you can change their outfit or their sort of slogan that they say in case you got a villager from a friend and they wrote like some pretty nasty stuff on there. So you can go to Isabel and just be like, Coco called me a slur, and then they'll change that for you.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
You know what?
okay.
I take that
That would
away.
make sense.
That's awesome. Instantly regret what I say. Okay, let's go into a segment. Let's go into fun little things.
And now, fun little things.
Do. So, who would like to go first? Yeah, so fun little things, little story time, if you will. Who wants to go? I'm not going to pick on Gabe because he's looking very like he has to think. I'm going to pick on Jonathan because my brain has a moth in it.
It has a moth, yes. So just a single light bulb and then your brain is
It's kind of like flickering. I'm waiting for it to fully turn on. So while I stall, Jonathan, would you like to talk about a fun little thing that happened this week?
Yes, this past week. Yeah, well, all of last week was, I spent most of last week working on Cicada, the show for Buck and Gecko. So my fun little thing was watching the fun little puppet. It was a little puppet and it was very fun to watch. So
very cute.
That about sums it up. I got a copy of the book from working on the show, which was very cool.
Is he wearing a suit?
Yeah,
I love
so if you haven't
so
seen
much.
Yeah, Sean Tan. If you haven't seen the book, so for people listening, if you don't know what Cicada is, so the cover of the book I'm holding up right now is, it has the title Cicada, Sean Tan, and then it's a little green sort of anthropomorphized cicada in a little grey office suit, and he's holding some papers, and he's just up against a very blank and very sad looking grey, almost like cement like wall. Yeah, but the puppet is very cute. I think it's going to do very well for schools. It's because it's planned as a show for kids, and I believe they're going to be performing at a whole bunch of schools, or I think a whole bunch of schools are going to visit the State Theatre and watch them perform. It's open to the public for a week, so tickets will probably go really fast if you want to see it. By the time you hear this episode, it may have already been sold out. So, but
dang,
if you get an
just missed it.
Oh dang, just missed it. But yes, if you have an opportunity to go see it. And I'm speaking to Gabe and Hanae now. I definitely recommend it. Not because I'm writing music for it, but I think that would be a nice little bonus.
Oh, it is definitely
of course.
But because the the puppetry alone is something to behold. So the puppeteer for the cicada is Tim Watts, and he just does the most adorable, most cute performance with this little puppet. And it's just really great to see puppets because it's I know Hanae doesn't quite like puppets, but I think
I do like this
Cicada.
One. I did.
It's a very adorable little. He almost looks like a little plushie.
This one is worthy of love because it is very wholesomely cute. It's got the Hanae tick. It's a good puppet.
It's a good puppet.
It's not one of those kind of creepy ones that kind of stare into your soul, and you're like, "Are you gonna move?"
Yes. But yeah. He has a very, very big head, green foam head with big black eyes. So it's very beady and it's really cute. Yeah, it's just really adorable. And it's it literally, you could just watch this little cicada puppet just do anything for hours. And that is that is in part most of the show because he's just working at an office and he's just doing random stuff. And it's just genuinely entertaining. So it's been a lot of joy and a lot of fun to watch that. And I go back in to do more of that this coming week and for the next few weeks. So, yes.
That's very cool.
It's great. It's really great. It's a really great job. I'm really enjoying it.
Nice.
I love that you just get to do a job where you just kind of get to watch a puppet do its thing. And the music that you do just matches what they're doing.
Oh, I hope so. I've got great feedback. But yeah.
It's always great. First of all, huge congrats for
Thank you.
Doing this gig and making cool music to a cute little puppet. And maybe not so cute other puppet. But I won't do any spoilers unless you want to talk about it. I'm also not totally stalling. I think I've got finally what I was gonna...
It's okay. I'll take the bullet for this one. It's all right.
Thank you. I'm trying to think what I did this week. It's really terrible. Go.
So this happened last week, but I just want to bring it up because I loved it so much. I was coming home from a shift at the cafe that I work at, and I was just walking home. And usually I like to alternate my routes just to diversify all the different funky old houses to look at while walking past. Okay. Sometimes go through the alleyways. But most of the time I'm out there looking for the good old neighborhood kitty cats. And just my luck, when I went down a certain alleyway, I saw a cat that was out by the porch of a house. I'm like, oh, hello there. And then he was looking at something else that I didn't quite see until I was about half a step away from completely walking into them. Another cat, 2 cats, the fluffiest one I've ever seen, right by my feet. It was practically a fluffy pillowcase. It was so cuddly and so friendly. And I just had 20 minutes with these 2 cats just hanging out. And I was like, yeah, this is peace. This is life. And I was like, I wonder how friendly you are. So I went to go pick it up. And at first it was really friendly until it bit my nose and it managed to bite the inside of my nostril. So that kept me humble. And I was like, touche, you win this one.
But I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Mark my words, Kat. Remember this face. Remember my nose. You will be healed.
Remember the face?
You remember me? Look at this. Oh, you do remember.
Unless they go back again and I get a nose piercing without knowing.
Ooh.
Dare I say, like having a cat piercing your nose is the latest fashion trend these days.
It's the latest. It's in right now. Yes.
Wow. So, Jonathan, you get 4 points.
Oh, thank you. But that was an incredible cat story, Gabe.
Oh, thank you.
Gabe, you get 4 points as well. 1 pity point because you got hit in the face. Your poor nose took a terrible turn for the worse. Okay, I thought of a story. Thank you for stalling.
No worries.
So, I went out shopping this week with some of my good friends, which you would have heard in an episode. Wink, wink. We went out to the op shop and I didn't find anything myself, but I found some good things for my friends because it was like shopping for other people that day. I found some good things for my friends. Found some beautiful china for my mum, which she was very excited about because she loves the Japanese Noritake china. I bought so many plates. I mean, there was over 20 of them, different types of plates. There was 2 different sets as well. They cost me, I'm pretty sure, like $10 or $12 for the whole set. It was insanely good. Anyway, that was the fun little win, if you will. We went to Beaufort Street to go get some ice cream. There's a Doc Marten shop on Beaufort Street. I can't quite remember.
I like where this story is going.
Unfortunately, I do not buy anything, but I may be going back there. However, they have some new docs in there, which I haven't seen before. And they had some different types of flowery docs, but they have like almost 3D leather flowers poking outwards with little studs in the middle. And they have like little fly traps embroidered on the side, and it's gorgeous. I love them. I might be going back for them. And then the lady, I think,
wait for me, Doc Martens.
Yeah, like I was in there, I was like, I want you. And I'm like, this is too much money. So my friend was like kind of trying to keep an eye on me so I wouldn't spend my money. But the lady who ran the shop, I think she could tell that I was in love, and she was like showing me every single pair. She's like, look at this one. This one has a little love heart. I was like, oh, look at that.
You'll want this one.
I was going mad. Yeah, so I was very happy because I was looking at all these beautiful docs. So that kind of my fun little story. Okay, so talking about our beloved Legend of Zelda. So why don't we play a Zelda since it's called Legend of Zelda? So when I first discovered Legend of Zelda, I didn't know that he wasn't Zelda until a friend.
Wait, he's not?
Yeah, I found out a few years ago due to a friend because they said, oh yeah, I play Zelda. You know, he runs around and then they do this and that. And then they said to me, they're like, you know, that's not their name. I was like, what are you talking about? Of course that's their name. It says it in the title. So why do you think we don't play as Zelda in her own game series?
Because they're too scared.
What, of all the power she has?
A Zelda game would be fantastic. And actually, technically, there were 2 Zelda games that had Zelda as the protagonist. But they were never on a Nintendo console.
Weren't they?
Yeah.
What were they?
So I remember one of them is Zelda, the something of something. That is so helpful. The Wand of Gamelon.
Sorry, Zelda. Okay. Most I'm really sorry to tell you this, but a lot of the games are called Zelda, so I think it might be a little hard to find the one you're talking about.
A little tricky. There's no legend in the name. It's just Zelda.
Oh, so
the Wand of Gamelon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. She's
and
no
that
legend.
and another game in that same year was released on it. Here's the thing: it was released on the Philips CDI. It is notoriously bad. It is like. It's got hilariously terrible hand-drawn cutscenes, and for a long time, a lot of like clips from that was turned into YouTube poops, and like a lot of edited like videos of it just made the rounds on the internet. So I think maybe that's why they haven't done a Zelda protagonist Zelda game. They're just scared of what might happen.
I mean, fair. Like, maybe the other reason is that she's way too powerful to be just the protagonist.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you can't control her because she's way too powerful for anyone.
Yeah, she controls herself.
There'd be no progression in the game because she's just always powerful. But of course, the solution would then just make her so powerful at the start and have a bit of a development curve.
And then that wouldn't be a Zelda game.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Wait, I have a really important message. You know how they have those little fun pictures that decorate Google sometimes, depending on what day it is?
It's got the coffee machine on it.
It's coffee machine.
It's
a coffee day. It's a coffee machine. So it is very exciting to say that Angelo Moriondo, Google celebrates 171st birthday anniversary of the godfather of expresso machines.
How about that?
Wow.
It's a coffee day.
It's a coffee day.
It is a coffee day. I think
How
this is the
fortuitous.
best thing. I know, right? On Who Ordered Coffee, we happen to actually record on a coffee day. This is amazing.
And I think it's absolutely sacrilegious that I'm drinking cold French press coffee.
Shall we segue into...
Yeah,
shall we
we're
then segue
segueing.
into the...
What drink
currently?
of all questions? So I have the question, guys. The most important question of the evening, in fact. I'd like to ask Gabe, what drink are you currently drinking?
Well, the drink that I'm currently drinking comes with a sad story. As I was setting up for this podcast, I had with me a cup of caffeinated, a nice long black with no added sugar. And then as I was setting up the blanket that is now covering over my head and the microphone, I may or may not have accidentally spilt it onto the floor.
Oh, no.
No!
And so there was a moment when I just was not talking to the microphone and I was like... This was before the episode started, but I was like, I was dabbing up the ground frantically, just being like, nothing, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong.
That was smooth. I never saw that.
Yeah.
Dare I say, I think that might be Angelo Moriondo's own personal way of having his way against me for having French press coffee on his 175th birthday.
Oh my
Incredible.
goodness. Maybe that follows.
Damn, that's very unfortunate, but yeah, perhaps.
Is all the coffee
He's
kind
with
of like
us.
cleared
He's with
up?
us in this recording. He's here in spirit.
So
he's here in spirit.
Yeah, talking about caffeine, I am drinking a new drink. Oh, I did it. So previously on every episode, I have been drinking French vanilla lattes. I didn't feel like changing, but today I did it. I changed. I am drinking, Jonathan will be proud, the Nescafé cappuccino.
Oh, okay.
And it is cold because it has been sitting on my desk in the cold air. It was hot, but I have like a quarter of it and it's freezing. So maybe this is also Angelo telling me off for not having an espresso. He's saying, you have a cold coffee now. And it wasn't meant to be cold. I'm disappointed in you.
That's why they named it espresso. You got to drink it with espresso.
I know. Yep. Fast and express yourself very quickly. Jonathan,
Hello.
question of questions to you. What are you currently drinking?
Yeah, so I am drinking not a coffee. I am continuing my own tradition now of just never drinking coffee.
Maybe
on
we
the
should
show.
talk about your resignation. I'm joking. Please don't leave.
Yeah, it's just that most of our episodes now are recorded in the evening, so it's just not appropriate to
This
drink
is true.
coffee.
This is true.
So what I've been drinking instead.
I'll drink coffee for both of us. Don't stress.
Yes, that's right. You have way too much of it, so yes.
I do.
You'll drink
You're
it on
welcome.
my behalf. You can drink on my behalf easily. I am drinking, it says here, Blue Diamond Almonds, Almond Breeze,
Ooh.
Almond Milk, Chocolate. I don't know why this title has so many almonds in it, but basically I was just
that's a
drinking
lot of almonds.
Yeah, so it's just a chocolate almond milk.
An almond chalky milk.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Wait, so how many almonds are in that title?
3, I believe.
Wow, that's a lot of almonds. You know what? You get 3 points for
Of
three
the 3
almonds.
almonds, yeah. I mean, in the title it has 3, so.
Yeah, and Gabe will get a 1 point because it's a little sad that his coffee left.
I'll
I think
happily
the
take that
ghost-
1 point.
I feel like
the
he
ghost
needs a
is-
bit more points for just making, actually making a coffee-like beverage.
This is true. Then
There should be points deducted for the level of quality.
I'm giving myself 2 points for drinking 2 coffees, one for Jonathan and one for me.
Yeah.
I think that seems right.
That
Okay,
seems right.
Hanae is
Very
second
honourable.
last
Thank you
because
for
of
your
Mr. Whippy.
sacrifice.
You're welcome. Yes, let's carry on to Legend of Zelda. Let's go back to our video games. Jonathan, did you ever give us an answer to...
No, I did not.
Yeah,
But yeah.
would you like to give your
Yes.
answer now about, just to recap, why don't we play as Zelda since
Yeah.
it is called Legend of Zelda? Would you like to elaborate on your idea?
Yeah. So my pragmatic explanation for this would be that because it says Legend of Zelda,
Yes.
Zelda is, given the title, is a legend. So you wouldn't be playing. I feel like if you're playing as the legend, somehow that sort of diminishes their quality. It's like when you trying to find a legendary Pokemon, right? They're like supposed to be quite like elusive and rare, and like you have to like they're like, are they even real? I don't know if they're real. If you're playing as that legendary character, it's like, well, then certainly yes, they're human, or whatever. They're real. They're not they are legends, so to speak. But like, just the very nature of like storytelling and like video games sort of like would show, I don't know, like if you would show the progression of how they became a legend or show them when they're not so legendary. I don't know. I feel like it sort of just undermines the sort of power that the title might give to character Zelda. I feel like we should be able to play as Zelda. It always seemed very odd to me in like Breath of the Wild where you play as Link and in all the flashbacks you see Zelda, but like you should be able to play as Zelda. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, why is it called Legend of Zelda? Because she's the legendary sort of figure. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to justify it on Nintendo's behalf, but honestly, for what the title is, you should actually be able to play as Zelda.
I think you're onto the right idea because I was doing some very intellectual research. I went to our very faithful source, Wikipedia. Princess Zelda is a magical princess that is the mortal reincarnation of the goddess Hylia. And I think that's why that's kind of piggybacking off your explanation, is that if you play as Zelda, there's no legend then. There's no story to think back on. There's no goddess that relates to this character.
Yeah.
So I think that's also why you don't maybe play as her. And I'd probably read a little bit more, but I like what we've said. So you know what? If you, listener, if you want to figure out the real answer, go find it out. We won't tell you because we don't know.
In fact,
at the moment.
Listeners, you tell us. We'd love to hear what the heck is up with why Zelda isn't playable in our games.
Yeah, I would personally love to play as Zelda because I think she's a cool character.
I am hoping and praying that in the next Breath of the Wild sequel that we get to play as short-haired Zelda.
Surely, right?
Surely.
Like, again, I'm like, oh, we love a short haircut, but also I'm thinking it's shorter because it's easier to animate and it's easier for like real-time animation. So if you play as the character, it's, a lot less, I don't know, a lot less render power, whatever you want to call that. But I'm like, maybe that's a clue for us that you get to play as short-haired Zelda.
I would love that so much. That would be so cool. Fingers crossed this happens, and we'll all be waiting for it, to be honest.
Oh yes.
So Gabe apparently knows some fun facts about the soundtrack of Legend of Zelda.
I have a lot of sort of personal little fun facts with the soundtrack. When they released Skyward Sword back on the Wii, they also did like a 25th anniversary celebratory CD, which is what the concert was that I was singing in was based upon. Yeah. And it was just an album of symphonic rearrangements and reorchestrations of like a lot of the main themes and stuff arranged into little suites. And throughout high school, I used to have that CD on repeat in the car anytime I'd go on a road trip. And especially anytime we'd go down south during the winter when it would just be harsh weather, a lot of like intense rain, strong winds, and it's just all greenery everywhere. I'd have the soundtrack blasting, and then I'd just be like, yes, it is I, Link, the whole time. And it always just the soundtrack of my youth.
So amazing.
That's amazing. I was actually thinking just then, I reckon you could cosplay as Link.
Yeah.
Because you've got the hair for it.
Oh, thank you.
And I was just staring at your hair and I'm like, oh my goodness, you are Link.
It worked. I think it worked.
It's working.
Oh okay.
That's amazing. I love that.
Put on a green cap, green tunic.
The only green cap I'm going to be putting on tonight is a nightcap.
I mean, his hats do kind of look like night hats. Yeah. Those little old ones.
I think there should be a Legend of Zelda game where you are just a sleepy little guy and you have a nightcap on and your tunic is actually your pajamas.
Oh, cute.
And you just you're running around with a candlestick holder.
That's right.
That's so cute. And maybe what our like little extra footage would be once you fall asleep, you're dreaming that you're in a forest saving the world.
Yeah.
That'd be so cute.
I
Oh
could
my
see
gosh,
this working like a little chibi style. I would genuinely play this Zelda game though. It does sound quite fun.
I think we're just really good at designing games. This is amazing. Like, wow. So, what is your favorite Legend of Zelda game and why?
I was about to say like Breath of the Wild, yeah, because it's the only one I've ever played. But then I was like, actually, no, that's not true. It's not true. I've actually played a couple of other ones. So I've played Minish Cap, where the cap is a duck.
Yeah.
Talks to you. I briefly played a bit of the Phantom Hourglass and the Spirit Tracks, where it's a cartoon
I
link.
too have played all these.
Yeah, that was quite fun. I've seen Let's Plays of Wind Waker, and I'm quite a fan of the soundtrack for that one. But I think I'd have to say Breath of the Wild. That's the only one I've played to the end. I don't think it's a generalized statement to say it's probably one of the best Zelda games, right? It's like not much competition there, although I'm pretty sure some diehard fans, I believe, would say that Ocarina of Time is probably the one.
Yeah, you might have like maybe some disagreement.
I think I'm gonna get like.
But well, everyone should realize definitely by now this podcast is us expressing our opinions. If they are wrong in your eyes, they are wrong in your eyes. Who cares? Don't fight us on it. You can if you want.
That's my favorite Zelda game.
Yeah, that's Jonathan's favorite. I'll do a little Jonathan plug right here. Go check out Jonathan's YouTube channel because I do believe you may have it up there, but you did a piece that was inspired by Breath of the Wild.
Which is true. Yes,
and this is
conducted by Jessica Gethard, which was crazy, right? Because she did the Zelda concert.
And I got to play along in it as the second flute for that.
And I got to play the viola in it as well.
Right.
And I was like, who is this man creating this insane soundtrack? Yeah, that was amazing. I loved it.
Thank you.
One of our lecturers came up and had to talk about this game when he had no idea what it was.
he called Legend of Zelda a game show. I was like,
yeah, and then I think
you.
he called the Guardians. He called them like little tank spiders.
No. I said that. I described them as essentially just a tank with 8 legs.
You're not wrong, but it was great. I loved it. It was the best description ever because I was like, that's right. Yeah, so go check out that piece. It's amazing. Go check out all these pieces.
Thank you.
It's great. I love it. Gabe.
Hello.
What is your answer?
All right. I'll give a little dramatic description of it.
Ooh, yes, please.
You traverse over a vast landscape. You encounter so many unique, friendly and not so friendly enemies and friends in that order. You help restore an old observatory to its golden glory.
I think I know what fun this is.
You traverse through space and time. You collect stars. Yes, I'm talking about Super Mario Galaxy 2.
The best Zelda game.
Oh, the best, hands down. Everyone's favorite Zelda game.
Mario. So Legend of Zelda, the main character is not this random person you keep calling Link.
Yeah, you're thinking of the monster. Link was actually the scientist.
So the main character is Mario.
Mario, and he saves the Legend of Luigi.
I love this.
Luigi in a dress.
Iconic.
But genuinely,
it's a green dress, right?
Yeah, green dress, and the mustache is
cute.
absolutely like essential.
It's essential.
I'm here for this.
Yeah.
I do have to reminisce to think about my favorite Zelda game because, of course, the obvious answer would be The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was so monumental and breathtaking that on its own, it's just a standalone like peak of the series.
Oh yeah.
However,
definitely.
I shan't dedicate that as the number one because there are so many other countless titles in the series. I started with Phantom Hourglass. And that, along with many other games such as Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword and Majora's Mask, I unfortunately fell victim to the gameplay loop of I would get to the first dungeon, I'd do pretty good, I'd get to the second dungeon, I'd get lost, and then I'd give up. So sorry for all those games. But the ones that I did finish, Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker, and Ocarina of Time, of those three, I think Wind Waker is probably my favorite, just from the music and the art style and that real like sense of adventure. I remember just like spending a week in summer just like dedicated to playing it. It was so much fun. But I do have to say a special little shout out to a little side series, the spin-off game. What is it called? The Legend of Zelda Cadence of Hyrule, which is a Legend of Zelda rhythm game.
Ooh,
and
interesting.
Ooh.
it is done in the style of a little indie game series called Crypt of the Necrodancer, where you and your enemies and everything that happens in the world moves to the beat. And so if you want to survive and get good at the game, you have to move to the beat. And it's great at like developing your inner rhythm and your inner metronome, because like even after you play that game and you go to move on to another game, you just kind of do every action to the beat. And it's very fun and addictive. And honestly, that's just my little shout out, because that's like a special mention to Cadence of Hyrule.
Nice.
This is very cool. I'm like looking at the cover art for it, and it looks really cute as well. I love it. You said something that sparked with me, and you said for the like when you're playing the first dungeon, you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty easy, got through it. And then the second dungeon, you're like, oh my goodness, I can't get through it. That's me. So
it's the Zelda curse.
Right. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one, because I played a bit of Minish Cap.
Oh yeah.
Spirit Track, Phantom Hourglass, and the boat one, which might be
Wind Waker.
One? No, it wasn't
Phantom
the Wind Waker.
Hourglass.
It probably was Phantom Hourglass. It just doesn't have a boat on the. There it is. No, it was Phantom Hourglass. Anyway, I started these. I got halfway through the game. I went back to them. Like maybe last year, and I was like, where am I? What am I doing? Why did I leave myself in the middle of the ocean? I don't know.
Just for the lulz.
The thing with these games that really annoyed me was that I couldn't finish them. I was really bad at them. I have not yet finished a Zelda game. Actually, no, one. I finished one Zelda game. It's Link's Awakening, because it was very cute. I'm doing every single side quest in Breath of the Wild before I go defeat Ganon. So Zelda's still there, kind of like chilling, not really. But I loved Link's Awakening because I love the RPG kind of format. How it's 3D, but also it gives you such old vibes to the older games. The music I love,
the
because
chamber
you have
music setting,
instruments. Yeah, and I was really hoping there was going to be a viola that I could collect. Wasn't, but that's okay.
No, but
I have some fantastic news about one of the games.
Yes.
In The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, there is a viola di gamba.
Ooh, amazing.
And it's made out of a leaf.
So cute. Okay, I need to play Wind Waker because I actually haven't played that one. But the Link's Awakening, everything was just really cute and I loved it. And actually, it was more straightforward than the older games that I was playing, because I remember one of my other friends who was playing it roughly at the same time. They kept getting stuck a lot. And I was like, that's familiar. PTSD, flashback to like stuck in that one dungeon. But I found this one was a little bit more straightforward than the older ones. The only thing I did get stuck on was like the Minotaur, because I don't have a very good response time. Like I know what to do, but I don't do it. And it's very frustrating, so then I have to stop because my hands don't do the thing that it's supposed to. So that's why I have to take breaks from Legend of Zelda. But in saying that, since Breath of the Wild isn't like a strict map, I love the open worldness. And, as we say, the soundtracks for all these games, iconic. I love them so much. It's beautiful. Yeah, and I was listening to them on the way home to get into the mood of Nintendo games. And I was like, this is so good. I'm just bopping along to some of these great, what am I talking about? All these great themes. Like, and also I was sitting there thinking, how are you such a genius to come up with such beautiful music? And Jonathan has an answer for us.
Oh, sorry. Not necessarily an answer for that, but it was, I just remembered a fun fact about the soundtrack for Breath of the Wild.
Fun fact, go away.
Fun fact.
No, come. Tell me. No, I want to hear the fun fact.
So for the character, and I actually had this theory. I just had a thought about it, and I had it confirmed after I bought the soundtrack. I had it I ordered the physical CDs for it, and it came. There was a little booklet that essentially explained this. But the character Mifa, if you use Sulfur to list out the notes, so Sulfur, if you don't know, is like the sort of like a note let's say like a sort of placeholder language used to describe notes. I'm doing a terrible job explaining, but
for another
solfa
reference, go listen to Do a Deer, Female Deer from Sound of Music. That explains it a little bit more clearly.
There you go. Yeah, but anyway,
there you go.
so solfa is just like the whole do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, that kind of thing. And so if you listen to Mifa's tune, the song goes da 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 da, which in solfa is just mi fa mi fa mi fa mi, which is Mifa, which is her name.
I love that.
And I remember picking that out. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if this is actually this was done intentionally. And when I got the CD, so I ordered it from Japan, and I looked through the booklet, I found a little segment where they essentially did that. They're like, yes, this is me and this is Fa, and that's her name. And it was in Japanese, so I did have a friend have a look at it who could read Japanese, and he said, yes, that's what they're saying. So I was like, yes.
That is amazing.
It was a great day to be a music nerd, but I was like, yes.
It's always a great day to be a music nerd. You get a point, music nerd. That was great. I love that. Yeah, mind blown once again. It
was a very cool
so much tonight. This is very cool. Okay, so before we go into some more questionnaires, let's do another segment.
Ooh, yes.
So it's the Song of the Week segment. So what song would you currently like to share with us or the listeners?
I would like to share a bit of a song.
And you may go first. Go for it.
Please do.
I would like to say...
I thought you were about to start singing.
Yes. I was getting ready.
Concert. Are you going to sing it?
No.
Okay.
The song that I'd like to recommend this week is quite popular. It's like made its resurgence this week due to Stranger Things season 4. It's Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, which is fantastic of a tune. I have loved that song for oodles of time, and I'm so glad that it's getting its resurgence in popularity. But I also want to use this opportunity to not just promote that one, but also another one of Kate Bush's oodles of good songs.
Go for it.
We have heard Kate Bush's song Babushka do the rounds on TikTok before, but I think a little bit more love and attention should go towards, let's go with her first 3 albums. Yeah.
All of them.
All of them. I mean, we've got Wuthering Heights. We've got, in the 3rd album, there's Babushka. There's Army Dreamers. There's a song called Breathing, which is a really fantastic and anxiety-inducing song about like the thought of that, like perspective is being a baby in the womb, being too scared to exit the womb because of the thought of a nuclear war. And the song is done from the perspective of the baby. And that's
interesting.
Fascinating.
That's just it's just such a unique idea that I've never thought of before. And Kate Bush just always has like a way with storytelling in her music. So my song of the week is Kate Bush.
Kate Bush.
A singular song.
Kate Bush.
This is Kate Bush. The song is Kate Bush.
Yes.
Kate Bush sings new song, Kate Bush.
New song, Kate Bush? Kate Bush. I hope she releases new music. The last time she released something was in 2011.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Come back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gabe wishes for Kate Bush, to come back. You're definitely listening to this podcast.
Of course she
Release
would.
a new album. Why wouldn't she?
Kate Bush, if you want to collab, just hit me up. I play the flute and an occasional Matusi flute.
I highly recommend him. He has my letter of recommendation.
That's right.
Jonathan, would you like me to go next, or would you like to cut in and go next?
I mean, no, you can go first. I'll go after you.
Yeah, I was scrolling through my list of music. So I'm gonna go to a movie. Brave.
Brave. I was just talking.
Yes. I love this movie. It's such a good movie, but I'm not going to do movie reviews. That's Jonathan's segment, not Hanae reviews. I would like to suggest to listen to Noble Maiden Fair. That is the full version of the song. So in the movie, it's cut down in one of the tracks.
Inevitably, yes.
So it's the mum and the little girl singing this beautiful folk song in, I do believe it's Gaelic. Tell me if I'm wrong. And it's gorgeous. I love it. It's so beautiful. Don't know what it's about, but because I haven't looked up the translation, but it makes me think about the relationship with my mum, or like just what's going on. It just is a nice song to just sit back and think about what's going on with yourself. And it's gorgeous. I love it. I love folk music. It's so gorgeous. Yeah, and I love the whole soundtrack, in all honesty, because I'm a sucker for bagpipes. I think they're so epic.
I wanna combine the two. Kate Bush uses bagpipes in one of her songs.
Does she?
Yes, in the Jig of Life.
In the what of life?
The Jig of Life. It's an Irish set list folk tune. And it's like a whole bunch of Irish dance music.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, I'm a sucker for bagpipes. I think they're awesome. Some people don't love them, and I'm just like, how could you not? Are they loud and obnoxious? Yes, they are. But they're beautiful. But that's my piece of suggestion.
Yeah.
I love that one. That one's my favorite one in the whole soundtrack, and I love that they have an extended version. Okay, Jonathan, I've done my rants. It's good.
Yeah.
I love it. What song would you like to suggest to us?
Yeah. I think I might go. I think I might go for an actual song this time. I usually keep recommending like soundtracks or like orchestral works. I think I'll go.
Love soundtracks though.
Yeah. I think I'll go for an actual song. So okay, the band is called Walk Off the Earth. Don't know if you guys have,
Haven't heard of it.
So they're rather interesting because their music. I'm certain you guys have heard of their music. Because I have before I found out about them. I'm like, they're the guys who wrote this whatever song, which is funny because I can't name the song. But that's a me problem. I'm known for not being able to name a lot of songs, but
they're the group who often plays on one guitar between 5 people.
That's right. Yeah, that's them. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen them.
Yeah, so they're very well known in the sense that you've almost definitely seen their work, but you might not know the name specifically. But yeah, the song I'm recommending by them is a song I think they wrote on TikTok, I want to say. As in, they wrote like a first verse and then they sort of, I think they were like, they put it out as like an acoustic on TikTok and they were like, comment if you want us to continue writing this or whatever. And, over the course of a few weeks, they eventually finished the song. It's called Hold On To Your Love. And it's by Walk Off the Earth. And for some reason, it says Walk Off the Earth and Philip Phillips. So I'm assuming they have a member who's not like fully part of their band and they collaborate with them for this particular song. Yeah.
Maybe they're just a real big fan of screwdrivers.
The Phillips screwdrivers. Yeah, there you go.
Maybe. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really nice track. I actually like the acoustic version more. I liked being able to hear like the top harmonies.
Because that's when they're really in their element, hey?
Yeah, and they're doing, so that's right, doing everything live and acoustic. But the fully produced version sounds really nice too. Yeah, although I find the production kind of swamps the vocals a little bit. But they both have their merits, I think. So yes, I would recommend that if you haven't heard of that already. So yeah, give that a listen.
Nice, I love that. Okay, so we're going to introduce a new segment as well. We've been thinking about putting this one in the episodes for season 2, but we just kind of forgot. So, sticking with music themes, what song are you right now? So I'll go first because I have an answer.
Okay.
I am I do believe it's called the bubblegum song from Animal Crossing, where they go That's just my mind at the moment. It's kind of like jumpy and bubbly. It's like a lot of bubbles in my mind, which is very cute. But they keep my ideas burst. That's where my ideas are going. They're like disappearing as soon as I form them, and I'm like, oh, they're gone. But that's okay. So that's my song at the moment. Who wants to go next, or do you just want to go?
Like
Jonathan's got his hand.
Oh, you go. Go ahead.
Oh,
sorry. I'll just jump right in. The track that I think represents what I'm feeling right now is probably the track from the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, Old Friends. Very wholesome, the Shire theme. Yeah, it's very wholesome, good vibes. Because I'm talking to good friends right now. Not necessarily old friends. You guys are not old.
I'm only 23. Hold on.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're not old. You're not old, but
we're
the context.
Horrible.
But the emotional context here is the same, I think. Old friends, yeah. And
you get 2 points because I'm a Lord of the Rings sucker.
Yes.
You know it. That's very cute.
We're also recording this on the day of the release of the Lord of the Rings episode, so we're a few weeks ahead.
Yeah.
So Lord of the Rings is very much on the mind. Yeah.
Always is, but it's very much more on the mind as we are thinking about our latest episode. Gabe, what song are you right now?
For me, I would say
Kate Bush.
the Kate Bush, the entire Kate Bush discography. For me, I would say the title theme for The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, because that's got a bit of a nostalgic twang to it, and it's folksy Irish flute music, and combined with a bit of a fiddle playing in it. It's just a very heartwarming little melody, and we've played it a couple times in the Wind Symphony's renditions of the Symphony of the Goddess arrangements, and it's always a melody that's close to my heart.
Oh, very beautiful.
Cute. Okay.
Very lovely.
So you get a point, and we better keep going along so I can get to my last little bits and pieces. So, game segment. Do. Doing all the segments at once. Or actually, no, but just before we get into game segment, I will ask, we're going into Pokemon.
Yes. We're going to talk about at least one other thing.
So, the first question that you will get asked during the game is, what is your starter Pokemon type? So, mine's fire. I've always gone with most of the fire. Yep, grass.
So it's going to be 2 grass here.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, I could go with water and keep it all balanced, but no, it's going to be 2 to 1 grass.
No, keep it unbalanced. We love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a grass person.
So how do you choose this type? Is it your go-to all the time, or do you go off like how... Because each Pokemon game, they have different starters. So do you go off the visual of the Pokemon, or do you always stick with your gut and you go with the one that you want, which is like, for example, grass for you guys? That's your go-to.
Well, yeah, I usually go by visuals. So I'm not like checking the stats and being like, oh, grass is better stats.
Yeah.
My go-to example is like in Sinnoh, for Sinnoh region, I always choose Turtwig because he looks the coolest out of everyone, right? Because he's like a little turtle.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. Yes. Fantastic. The Turtwig team here.
Wait, I have to show you something as well.
Oh,
this is going to be so bad for our listenens, but
hey, there he is. So Gabe is presenting a little plushy Turtwig. Very lovely.
And
I'm glad you showed me because I didn't know what they looked like.
And a pixelated Turtwig. What would you call that? Is that a sticker? What's that?
It's made from perla beads.
Oh, fantastic.
I know those.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I had a phase where Turtwig was my absolute all-time favorite Pokemon.
Well, that would, I think, line up quite nicely with your frog phase, I believe.
Oh, yes.
With green, yeah.
With green.
Yeah, green. So I always liked the look of the little turtle with a little sprout coming out the back. I also was a big fan of the Torterra design. You're just a giant angry turtle with a with a tree growing out the back, and it's sort of like a terrarium kind of aesthetic. Not really a terrarium, but it's got like a little mountain, like a mountain and a bush and a tree. Yeah, I just liked the look of that. So
yeah. I'm gonna be the bad grass type player, and I'm gonna say I always go with my gut with grass type, no matter the generation. I was so close to not picking grass in Gen 7 when we were in Alola, because I really wanted Poplio, just because I liked the evolved form a lot.
Yes.
But I had to go with Rowlet, and I also have a plushie in my room, which I won't grab because I've done too much cardio as it is. But I'm so excited for the latest starters as well. I'm going to pick Sprigatito, the grass cat Pokemon, as my starter, which I'm going to be so excited for. Talking about the latest generation. I myself am super excited for Sprigatito. They released a new trailer for that a couple days ago, which when this episode comes out is probably like 3 weeks ago. But
yes.
But
I gotta check this.
Uber excited for it.
Yes.
So I always go with fire. Elliot will hate me for saying this because it's the fire type in me. Don't let Elliot hear this episode. But I just love the fire type. I think, as I mentioned, I think Tapig was the first one that I remember having. And the next fire type, we'll stick with the moon version because that was the most recent one I have, and it's the recent one in my brain. I picked Litten
Oh yeah.
And because
Be the
one,
fire
they were
cat,
fire
yeah.
type, and two, it was so cute. But I hated the last
Yeah.
involvement. He looks so strange, and I
like
kind of hate
the
it.
wrestler.
Yeah, they did the exact same thing with Tay-Pig. They made him like cute
Super buff.
wrestling
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of yeah, and I'm like, I liked you when you were small and cute. So I didn't
give him an
level up
Everstone.
my first one. I kept him the same.
Is this similar to what I heard about like doing the Elite Four with a Tepig? Or...
Yes, this is the exact same
The-
technique.
Yeah.
It was so close. I think it was the last. Which one was? It might have been Poison. Yeah, I failed.
Did you say Bug last time? I think. Maybe
It
Bug.
was probably Bug. I can't remember. Maybe it was like because they were using Poison as
okay, yeah,
the
yeah.
attack, and I was
Yeah.
like, I died of something that was related to poison.
Yeah.
I didn't know how Pokemon worked, so I didn't know you had to make a team or level up the other Pokemon. I leveled up one.
And it wasn't
like,
fully
the entire
evolved.
game. It was a fully evolved one. It was like over 70, and I almost took out every single elite member because I had this really good potion that actually revived you from the dead or something.
Oh, like Max.
But I
Elixir?
can't.
Max
Yeah, but you
Revive,
can't
yeah.
buy them. You can
Yeah.
only be gifted them, and
Yeah.
I used them all up.
Oh.
So I can't do that moment again, but I was so close. I think it was just one like left, and I was slaughtered.
No.
But with the moon version, I had a grasp. I finally understood how to play Pokemon.
Nice.
It didn't take me ages. But there was trading in this game as well.
They
So
all
you
have
could do
trading, yeah.
online trading. I didn't know that.
Oh, they all have training, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't. Again, I didn't play it correctly. So I have some bragging things. I got a seal Pokemon. I forgot what her name was. I forgot what the name was.
Was it the Spheal?
It was a seal, Marina or something.
Primarina.
Yeah, Primarina. I got a few of those, but I kept one. And it turned out my friend who was super into Pokemon, he was playing my game, and he's like, "Have you got a shiny?" I was like, "What's that?"
Oh,
I have a shiny Primarina.
oh
I
my
didn't know
goodness.
it. Yeah, and someone gifted me a legendary Pokemon 100 levels. I don't know who it was, but I got it from one of the trading, and I can't use it because I wasn't up to the level.
Oh,
It's still in my bank because I can't use it. Yeah, so I did really well in trading.
wow. You hit the jackpot there. I was looking at
I didn't
photos
even
of
know it.
Shiny Primarina now, and I realized that the only thing that looks visually different is that their hair, instead of being like an aqua blue, is just platinum blonde. And I'm like, okay, someone could easily
Yeah.
You missed
like
that.
just
Well, I
think,
didn't even know
they
what
got a
a
haircut
shiny-
or something.
Yeah, I didn't actually know what a shiny was. So when I found out, I was like, can I get more? But it turns out like, no, because they're so rare.
Mm.
But yeah, my friend was not impressed that I didn't know that I had a shiny Primarina. He was a bit furious with me, actually. Yeah, so Pokemon, we love them.
Hmm.
Game segment. So I have broken them down into 3 different categories to best represent what we just talked about. So they're out of order. We're going to do them out of order. So my first one is do a Tom Nook impersonation.
Oh,
So like, even if it's just normal, how would you think Tom Nook would speak to you? Like, even if it's not Animalese, how do you think Tom Nook would speak to you? For example, he could be like Gollum and be like, no, that's not Gollum. I can't do a Gollum impersonation, but maybe he could be like, I steal all your money. Something like that. That was terrible. I hated that. I'm going to give myself a negative point.
I don't.
That was horrendous. That was an example. I'm not a part of the game segment. You guys are.
I think
Who
that
wants to go first?
Tom Nook would have a very confident, self-assuring sort of sound to himself. Like, I think what he'll be saying, he's mostly saying to himself, but he already believes himself. He's like very confident. He's like, yes, of course. So this is the job that you're going to be going for. Oh, yeah. So you're just going to be doing this for about 2 weeks. Yes. And then after that, you get to repay your loan. So yes, that'll be like 6 months of your time gone. So bye-bye.
Pretty accurate. What
Thank
about
you,
you,
thank
Jonathan?
you.
What do you think? I'll give you 2 points for that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great impersonation. You're going to top that. I just imagine now he's the landlord from the Tobey Maguire era of Spider-Man, who's just constantly after his rent. It's like, give me my rent.
I love that.
I need that money. Just
I'll give you.
Tom Nook is a landlord who's always just a bit of a mean dude. It's
Yeah, you're not wrong.
a little bit unforgiving.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you 2 points. One, because I love how you're both two different variations. We're not going to talk about my horrendous one, but I love that you guys went two different ways. And when Gabe was talking about it, I was thinking maybe he could be very posh and have a very round accent.
Just
and be
anytime
very
he says
low.
yes, I'm always like thinking like, oh, yes, oh.
Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
god, wait, you get another point.
Yeah.
that's so good. That is very good.
That is
Yeah.
accurate. I love that. That is Tom Nook.
Tom Nook,
It's
yeah.
a Nintendo CEO.
Yes.
Okay, next one. Who can do the best Link impersonation?
I've actually done one on the show before, very briefly.
You have. So would you like to go first with this one?
Well, I've done in the past. I've just done the yellow, and he's like, "Huh?" I've just done that one on the show.
I mean, that's really all he does.
Yeah, Link doesn't really speak, so I guess my best impression of him would just be just does nothing. Just
For the listeners out there, he just stares at. Jonathan just stared at
I
me.
just stared at the screen. Yeah, I just stared at the screen.
Yeah, that's accurate. You know what? You get 3 points, and 2 for the staring, 3 for the 1 for the.
I would like to. My impression comes from a very specific
yes.
context of when you're in Ocarina of Time and you fall from a very high drop and you land on the ground. You could just go. Thank you very much.
It's perfect. 2 points.
Incredible. Damn.
Amazing.
Those are so good.
Also, like, I'm surprised Link is still alive at this point.
Oh yeah,
Insane
He's
that.
gone
I
through a
love
lot.
that. I love that in Breath of the Wild that they added rain and that you slip.
Mm.
I think that's very like. I don't know if that's done in other
It's
games,
a really
but like,
annoying mechanic.
it's so annoying. I hate it, but I think it's still a great idea because it's more realistic.
I've seen a video where they map the weather patterns and they explain that for Hyrule to be having that much rain that frequently, they would have to be experiencing some really catastrophic, cataclysmic level
Oh,
event
definitely.
for it to be that frequent. And like
Maybe the
technically-
event is Calamity Gammon itself.
Well, there you go. I mean, that would explain that would do it, I suppose. I think the
That
implication
makes a lot of
though
sense.
was that like the amount of water that is raining would actually flood all of just Hyrule. So everything should actually just be underwater. I think that was the takeaway. Or something like that.
The next Legend of Zelda game, Under the Sea.
Well, isn't that the whole plot of Wind Waker?
There you go.
I
That's
don't know, I
essentially
It's
it.
it's a massive
I'm sorry,
ocean.
I wouldn't know.
And
Yeah,
there's
everything's
tiny
basically-
islands everywhere.
Yeah.
I
So
I
maybe-
wouldn't know. I haven't played.
Maybe Breath of the Wild actually goes back.
It happened
is
before
early in the
Wind Waker.
timeline.
Breath of the Wild 2 is
Yeah.
Wind Waker.
Just leads into Wind Waker.
Okay, and for the last part of the game segment, so I don't know many Pokemon names, but I'm assuming you two do. So
I recognize.
I have to
them.
judge this somehow.
Mhm.
And I'm going to say, if it sounds legit, I'll give you a point. If it doesn't, I won't give you a point.
So what's the actual game though?
So name as many Pokemons as you can.
Within a time limit?
Yeah, so I'm going to turn, well,
Just like for the
How's-
next half hour, just be like,
than
and this one, and this one.
do you guys want 45 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much time? Too little time?
Can I add in a little extra bonus challenge for Hanae?
Ooh.
Which is?
If I were to sprinkle in one Digimon, would you be able to figure out which one it is?
Probably not, but we'll give it a go. In saying that, who would like to go first? 'Cause
I'm
you
happy
can't-
to go
I don't
first.
want.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a. Okay, I'm going to tally of how many that I think sound legit,
Mhm.
and I'm going to try my best to remember which one might sound like a Digimon. This is great. Okay, your time starts now.
Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, Charizard, Charmeleon, Charmander, Pidgey, Pidgeot, Pidgeotto, Ekans, Arbok, Rattata, Raticate, Pikachu, Raichu, Pichu, Cleffa, Clefable, Clefairy. We've got Coughing, Wheezing, Agumon, Paras, Parasect, Mew, Mewtwo, Turtwig, Grottle, Blastoise. Oh, I already said Blastoise. Torterra, Chimchar, Monferno, Infernape, Piplup, Prinplup, Empoleon, Luxray, Shinx, Luxio, Roselio, Budgie, Roserade,
Cow. It's in order.
Absol,
It's in Pokedex
Mycena,
order.
Poochyena, Zigzagoon. Now we're going Gen 3, Torchic, Combustion, Blaziken, Mudkip, Marshtomp, Swampert, Trico, Grovyle, Sceptile, Chikorita, Bayleaf, Meganium.
Your time's up.
How many was that?
Oh, there's a lot of ones, and I might have left some out because some seemed a bit questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Was Pidgeot the Digimon?
No.
It was not.
Damn it!
It was
Damn
not.
I can't remember half of them.
Could you tell which one it was, Jonathan?
Yeah, it was Agumon.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that one. I'm not gonna lie.
I did it very
pretty
early
sure-
on, so I just forget about it.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty
I
sure
thought it
all
would
of
have
the
been
ones
like
you
maybe.
mentioned were correct.
But I feel
Other
like
than
saying Blastoise twice is definitely like.
Yeah, so I started putting in a lot of ones, but then I thought maybe I wouldn't put in ones for the ones I didn't think were quite real. But to be honest, I'm pretty sure all of them were real. There might be just some points missing, and I don't want to count these up in a minute, but I will have to do that. Okay, Jonathan.
I don't know if I should try it. If I should even bother at this point.
You have to. It's a game segment. You can make them up. As you can tell, I might not be able to tell, but if they're not that believable, you won't be getting a point. There was somewhere you were going like,
I think
Perfable, Able. I heard a lot of Ables, and I was like, this can't be right. Surely.
it's all right.
So I think that's where you lost a few points.
Gabe can fact check. He can check for me. I mean, if I say
yeah,
ones,
he is the Pokedex. What are you talking about?
There was like I think like
Okay.
most of like the Kanto Johto region, like you just listed it out in like
It was,
Pokedex
like,
order.
For the Sinnoh Pokedex, I like just visualize the
Pokedex.
Pokemon card collection that I have,
Yeah.
and just like scrolled through each page in my head. Just like, oh yeah.
Gosh, that's
Wow.
insane.
I'm
Okay.
impressed and also a bit intimidated.
Thank you. I strive to
Okay.
do that in every aspect of my life.
Best of luck, Jonathan. Yeah, your time starts now.
Okay. So let's see. Squirtle, Blastoise, Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, Pikachu, Raichu, Koffing, Ekans, Arbok, Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam, Mew and Mewtwo, Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. Let's go. Dialga and Palkia, Turtwig, Torterra. I can't remember the middle one. Empoleon, Piplup, going backwards. Torchic, Trico, Grovyle, Mudkip.
Time's up.
Okay.
I have a question. Is Abracadabra an actual Pokemon?
Yes, Abra is one,
It's
and
two
Kadabra is another
Pokemon.
one. Yeah, Abra.
Okay,
and
fine. I'll
Kadabra.
give you those 2 points.
And then the final evolved Pokemon is Alakazam.
I love that. Did you say that?
Yes,
I
I
did not say that.
No, I can't remember what you said. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I
Sorry,
had
that was
a lot
all in
of...
the past.
Yeah, I was like, ages ago. What are you talking about? I'm looking at the point. Jonathan, can you see it?
Oh no, I can't. Let me scroll down.
Look at you're just like, wow, so many.
It was. I feel like Gabe said way more than that.
Well, I
He
think
did, but I said
some of the Pokemon just
if I
didn't sound
don't
real.
think,
Okay.
I said if they don't sound real, I won't count them because
Interesting.
me being the best of judge knows every single Pokemon in the Pokedex.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not about the
yeah, so
quantity
I'm-
of Pokemon, it's about the quality of each Pokemon.
Yeah. So there were some bits where I was thinking, surely. I mean, it is Pokemon
Okay.
names, so
He did, in fact.
100%.
Okay, well, I can actually say he did, in fact, say all of those names were in fact real, except for the Digimon one.
Well, I couldn't hear the Digimon one, and I don't want to talk about it.
It's fine. Gabe is still winning by a landslide in terms of points. So
Yeah,
It's
I
not
don't,
like-
I don't know
Okay.
the points, but I'm just very excited that I'm doing well.
We should. Okay, going back to questiony questions.
Mhm.
Which Pokemon game is your favorite? So I know that Gabe has a lot to choose from.
Mhm.
Not too sure about Jonathan, but I can say that Jonathan has probably quite a number to choose from. I have 3 to choose from. Who would like to go first?
I'll hop in.
Wow, no one raised their hand.
I'm deep in
Jonathan
thought.
raises his hand. I think that's Jonathan raising his hand. Do you want to raise your hand?
Yeah, my favorite region was the Sinnoh region. That was my favorite
Oh,
one. And
good
so I was
choice.
very excited. Yeah. So I was very excited when they announced and subsequently released the Sinnoh remake for the Switch. So that made me very happy. And I have mentioned this on the show because I keep getting defeated by Cynthia. So that flashback to that little moment in season 1. Speaking of which, I have not yet had a chance to reattempt Elite Four with a new team. This was my challenge.
Oh, this is a new team. That's right. I wrote down the Jonathan challenge.
The challenge. That's right. I haven't gone around doing that, but it will happen. Cynthia's not getting off easy.
No, she cannot.
She cannot. Yeah. But there you go.
Good luck, Cynthia, is all I have to say to you. Jonathan's coming with a new team that will be, is it meant to be 60 plus or 70 plus?
Oh, I think I said I was going to bring them all up to level 70. Yeah. Or 60.
Best of luck.
No, I think level 60.
Win.
I think because the challenge was Adrian, he beat the Elite Four with all level 60, I think. So I said I had to bring
That's right,
everyone.
so it should be 60.
Yeah, bring everyone
Maybe
up to
you should
60.
do 59.
Ooh.
See if you can beat them at 59. Let's see if it can be done. You don't have to. Gabe, do you have a favorite Pokemon game?
I have the same favorite Pokemon region, which is Sinnoh, Gen 4.
Yeah.
Pokemon Pearl was my very first Pokemon game. But I'll say that my favorite Pokemon game, because I love Diamond and Pearl, definitely a lot of rose-tinted glasses. Maybe my favorite is the reimagining of the game, which is Pokemon Legends Arceus, which takes place like 150 or so years in the past. And I just really love the gameplay loop of that. And I got my butt kicked so much on the final boss, which I won't spoil anything, but I really needed to grind for that one.
Okay, interesting. This one's come up on the show in the past as well. I mentioned that I was rather curious about it. I didn't end up getting the game, so yeah.
Ooh, I mean, it's got the Game of Approval stamp on it.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember. I think Adrian had also started playing a bit of that too. He mentioned. I think Adrian also really liked it. So yeah, it's two votes of confidence for Legend.
Oh, absolutely. It's like
Arceus.
It's a nice breath of fresh air. I nearly said breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air. Yes, it did strike me as a Breath of the Wild cross with Pokemon, but I feel like that's not really. It does
have a similar vibe.
It would make sense.
So should I play it?
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely. Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely.
Okay, so I think, as you all know, that I play Pokemon so much. I am so knowledgeable. I think my favorite would have to be Moon, because that was the one that I have at least mostly done, completed correctly, if I may say so myself. But what I would love, I don't know if this happens in later Pokemon games, I think it does, but I would love for my Pokemon to just walk beside me. I don't want them in their Pokeballs. I want them to just hang outside with me like Pikachu does with Ash.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best thing in the world.
Boy, do I have some fantastic news for you. In Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, you get to do that.
Ooh.
Well, so I know my next games. My dream is becoming reality. Okay.
Fantastic.
So I have 2 more questions to wrap this beautiful episode up. So I do want to ask both of these because they're good. Do you think Pokemon is becoming... Sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
no, I do not think.
I should... Very, very well done. That's not great thinking either, but that's okay. Do you think Pokemon is becoming tedious and repetitive? Because I found that the 3 games I had played is the same idea. You start off with, 3 starters at age 11. You go and fight some kids that you don't know and never will know. You go meet these strangers at a gym and level up, and you go fight Cynthia. It's kind of the same. It's a little bit of the same thing. Do you think it's too tedious or too repetitive? But you guys obviously keep going back to play the game.
Guilty.
Yeah, so what keeps you going back to Pokemon? The real question, actually.
It's an interesting one, I think, because I like to think of it as in some elements definitely do feel like they do get stale. Like a new element that was implemented recently was the XP share for all the Pokemon.
Yeah.
I can understand why they do that, so that you don't have to grind so much to make sure that all your Pokemon are leveled up. But it does streamline it to the point where you don't have to pick favorites with your Pokemon because they're all going to get leveled up.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it seems like whenever they do something like that feels a little repetitive, they do add in something that kind of does seem nice. Like I know that Sword and Shield got a lot of flack for reusing some animations and assets, but the wild area I found to be really fun. And like they did some new stuff with Pokemon Legends Arceus as well. I mean, a lot of stuff was similar, but at least it wasn't a full-on one-to-one remake.
Yeah. What have you got to share, Jonathan?
Essentially the same. I find that rather interesting with like
Ditto.
franchise. Literally, just ditto. Yeah. Now, when it comes to franchise games, it's always this case of like, well, how much is you want to keep elements, enough of it the same so that it fits within the same franchise, and why why mess with something that isn't broken? So if it works, you keep doing it. But I also would have to say that they do change things up. And there are new elements for sure. They definitely always do something, add at least a couple new things, but the core gameplay is very much the same. It does essentially boil down to the same thing. I would be of the opinion that yes, they are repetitive, but I also don't really have a problem with that. And I think I've mentioned I can't remember what we talked about anymore. It was on the show we talked about a similar thing. Where I like Marvel films. We talked about Marvel films and how they were like kind of samey and whatnot. My take when it comes to that, I actually don't mind when things are more or less the same, because it's like yes, it's comforting to know that this particular brand produces this particular product, and if I'm looking for that particular thing, I know where to look, and I can trust that they're going to deliver on this particular product. So in a sense, it's like if I want to play something that's not like Pokemon, I'll just go play something that's not Pokemon. So if I want to play a Pokemon game, I can always trust that Pokemon's going to put out a game that is essentially the same thing with a different skin.
I guess if you were to like, Pokemon is like a big old bowl of nachos. Like, yeah, you've had the same thing before, but if you were to go in and grab a handful and then you bite down and there's something squishy in there, then that would be a little bit more alarming than intriguing of something different in there.
Yes.
This is true. I love the analogy.
Thank you.
Very good.
No, I love that. That's great answers. You both get 2 points for that. Heck. So, last question of the evening, because we have to wrap up. Of all the games that we've talked about, which one do you think has the best soundtrack, or your favorite soundtrack?
Tricky.
I know, very tricky, because I think for me personally, they all have very iconic soundtrack.
It's
soundtracks that fit. So if you want, maybe just highlight some peak soundtrack moments in each game.
I'll give a little special mention then.
Okay.
Pokemon Legends Arceus is basically a love letter to those who played the original Diamond and Pearl. There are so many different sprinkles of little motifs and musical ideas from the original games that are recontextualized in the themes. So, for an example, is like in the starting area, in one of the first zones that you're in, the music there plays like the first couple routes and like the first couple towns, but they don't play them like a one-to-one exact version of it. They instead incorporate like little, like small intervals and small little quotes from there. And then they sprinkle it into a whole different soundscape because it's in like 100 years in the past. It's all like a completely different environment, but it's still got like the same iconic landscape. So it's kind of like it incorporates a little theme of modernity into like the yesteryear, which I think is like so cool. And also the main town, Jubilife Village, starts off really slow and mellow with like just piano chords on its own. But after every zone is unlocked, there's another instrument added to it until it turns into the Jubilife City theme from Diamond and Pearl. And I think that's pretty freaking sweet.
That's pretty cool. I think they did that in Breath of the Wild as well with the little town that you have to build. What's that?
Yeah, Tarrey Town.
I love Tarrey Town.
They did a similar thing.
Yeah, they had like every instrument being representative of like each different
cultures.
Race.
Yeah. So each time you added new people, new villages, the music would expand, which is really cool. I really like that. That was great. Yeah, although I guess I would just then segue into my answer, which is just probably have to go with Zelda. Yeah, I'm a big sucker for those epic, the sort of adventure, orchestral adventure tunes. Although in the games, I have to specify that in the games they're not like full on orchestral, because a lot of them were more of like the early ones, like more 8-bit. And even with like Wind Waker, it was like a lot of it was like very old school MIDI orchestra. Which you gotta like hand it to them. You're like, this sounds bad, but the music composition is great. But the audio quality,
It's like you did such a good job,
Work with
but
what you got.
you're given to work with is
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, but I think yes, just because of all the orchestral treatments, it sits sort of high in my head every time I think of like game music. Zelda comes first.
So fair.
And
As
hey.
much as I would probably pick Legend of Zelda, but I'm just gonna say Animal Crossing is such good study music,
It is such good music. Yeah,
especially the 6 a.m.
That's right.
one. I once got up to play Animal Crossing around
At
6 a.m. and the music was like, oh, this is gorgeous. It had like a little bit of piano, a little bit of ambient. And I was like, oh, I'm just floating, just wandering around, not really doing much, but I was just living for it. It was very cute. But I think a soundtrack I'd like to mention, give a little special shout out, if you will, is from Mario Odyssey. Princess
yes.
Mario is back. Legend of Mario, if you will.
Mario Odyssey is great. Has
so-
a fantastic soundtrack.
As Gabe and Jonathan know, I have currently, my last recent kingdom was the Snow Kingdom. And I love the village theme. It's
So
so
good.
cute. Oh,
Yeah,
it's-
with like the
I
little
just was
pencil.
like, kind of,
it's
yeah.
And obviously
He's already
sleigh
singing it.
bells. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, can I just hang out here forever? You guys have a really good theme. And I'm going back through each kingdom and I'm like, no, I want to go back to the Snow Kingdom. It's got a more fun cute little theme going on in the village. That's my shout out because I was playing it last night and I was going, do.
I want to have a fun little fact slip in, if that's okay.
Yeah, last fun
Yes.
fact of the evening.
Last Gabe fun fact. One of my favorite flute players, who's like kind of obscure, who's actually in the soundtrack.
Is it Jonathan?
It's Jonathan, yes, who was in the soundtrack for both Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. His name is Junichiro Taku. He actually plays on a head joint very similar to the Matusi flute.
How about that?
It's a Japanese model called the Kotato B-mode flute, but he appears in the town theme in the Shivering Little World. Like, that's him playing.
That's
so
so
good.
cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's like a
thank
bit
you
of a
for
small
that
world.
fun fact.
Yeah. What a lovely
It's a
fun
small
fact. Yeah.
world after all. I forgot,
Crazy.
I forgot how that theme goes. Anyway,
Yeah.
so to finish up as usual, we've got our score points. You both put up a wonderful fight, if you will.
neck and neck
it was a
until the
hard,
end.
tough decision. I love all your points that you had to make. Also, I think the Pokemon just maybe threw Gabe right into the lead. So in saying that, Jonathan has 51 points and Gabe has a whopping 70 points.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them all came from, I think
Congratulations.
probably Digimon did make it in there in the end. So in saying that, as we'll have to have you back on in future.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I'm going to be running this show now.
Yeah, so unfortunately we can't have you back like next episode, but we will definitely be
Yeah.
having you back as probably
Yes.
guest.
Oh, fantastic.
Host.
I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll
Yeah.
come harass you.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
thank
boy.
you
I mean,
for
you're going to
letting
be the
us
one
kidnap
harassed
you.
with obscure Nintendo trivia. So who really wins at the end of the
living
day?
for it.
So
We're
I
living
think
for
we're
it.
really all winning. In all honesty, we're
Winning.
having another Nintendo episode in the future. It looks
Maybe
like
the real winners
So-
are the friends we made along the way.
this
Yes,
is true.
this is true.
Old friends, we made our way
Old
by
friends.
Howard Shore. And in saying that, I hope you guys have a nice warm bed waiting for you because it is freezing.
I'm ready to go to
So
Sleepy
cold.
Time Junction.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
And for you listeners, I hope you are keeping nice and warm, especially with a hot beverage. Keeping
Unless it's summer
Um,
when you're listening to this, in
unless-
which case,
yeah, then
Nice,
have a cold
nice
drink.
cold brew.
yeah,
Yeah, but in saying that, I hope you all have a lovely day or a lovely evening.
yes.
And thank you for you, listener. Thank you for listening to Who Ordered Coffee and
Yes, thank
all
you.
about our favorite Nintendo spiels and fun facts with Gabe. It has been a lovely
Gabe.
evening. Thank you so much again, Gabe, for joining us. It was lovely having you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much for having
Jonathan.
me.
Yes, thank you for being on our show, our humble little internet show.
Yes, it's very cute. We love having everyone that comes on the show, honestly, and
So
you
good.
as well.
Yeah, it's been really great. Just every guest we've had so far. Yes.
Yeah, we have such wonderful conversations. And in saying that, we should all go to bed. So
Should
have
go
a
to bed.
lovely night, all of you.
Bonne notte.
And we'll see you in the next episode. Good night and goodbye. See ya.
Bye.
Why am I waving? You can't see it.
I will wave too.
Wave.
Wave.
Wave to the listeners.